Thank you for tuning into The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is why is the black woman the loudest one in the room? Okay, so before I get started, I want to make a small disclaimer. This does not apply to every black woman. And let's face it, other races of women and even other men can be loud and obnoxious at times. But for the purposes of this episode, I am addressing black women. So I want to first start off by saying that this message goes out to all my brown and dark melanin sisters out there. I understand the struggle and continue to fight through every day alongside of you. I also understand the inner pain that the world and at times our own black men have shunned and told us just to be quiet. So I understand about the inner pain and the things that we deal with on the inside. And that the whole world tells us doesn't exist or it doesn't matter. And sometimes our own men. Okay? Many black women are often compared to the white and lighter skinned female in regards to looks, and lastly, our attitude, demeanor, and tone of voice. And if one were to be honest, many of those women that are the quote unquote icon at exhibiting class and charm have a wild and loud side to them as well, though many may not ever see it. Okay, so they keep it behind closed doors. The reason why charm and poise mainly exist is to attract the opposite sex, and the proper way to conduct yourself as a lady around men and in society in general. Okay? I wanted to also say, for so long, through subliminal messaging, and just a decade or so ago, brown and dark women were taught that things like the tone of their voice, their posture, the way they sit with a dress, and abstaining from sex until you land a proper marriage didn't exist for brown and dark women. All that mainly mattered was how good we cleaned, cooked, and performed sexually after late night hours. After all, the ballroom receptions and tea banquets were considered off limits to black women. Okay? So I think at times, black women, we've been considered, we were good. We were the mistress and the masters in the bedroom and moving our bodies. But anything that had to do with being a lady was strictly categorized off towards whiter and lighter women. And these are some of the truths that we face in America and that we're still trying to debunkify or debunk now, even in this current day. So let's talk about the tone of our voice as black women. Okay, so let's talk about it, okay? Black women in general, okay, so that's not all of us, but, general speaking, are stereotyped and classified as being boisterous, wild, clamorous, and loud. So this goes for examples as maybe a black woman yelling off of a balcony of an apartment, yelling to her friend or something downstairs, loud at a bus stop, loud in the public settings, at parties, at work, being loud, all sorts of places that black women have been considered loud in inappropriate places. And I want to talk about some of the reasons that black women can be loud, I believe. This is not all of them, but some of them. I believe it's lack of proper female upbringing. So some of this passes down from some of the black woman's mother and female role models not having the knowledge themselves or finding it unnecessary or that it doesn't pertain to black women. So maybe the elder black woman didn't feel a need to pass that down to their daughter. Okay? Low self-esteem and a constant need for attention. As I've stated once before, women, we like attention and we love attention from men, especially if you're heterosexual. You love attention from men, but the black woman has not been taught the proper way to garner attention from the opposite sex. Also, number 3, inner anger and frustration. A lot of things that black women are going through on the inside. A lot of times, she could lash out at other people, and sometimes I believe, it may be subconsciously a form of protection for black women, some black women, to feel like if they're loud, that they're protecting themselves. Number four, the failure to master control over her emotions and self. That's another thing, the feelings of being, I don't know, anxious, upset, even sometimes maybe even excited and happy can come across as lack of self-control if we as black women are loud out in public, and it shows a lack of control over ourselves and our body and our mouth. Dear ladies, okay, we are all grown and have the free will to do whatever, but having class and tone of voice practice is not about what you could do, okay, because you could do whatever you want as a woman, right? You could flash your breast at a Mardi Gras, you could squawk like a chicken in the middle of the street, but it is more about what you ought to do. So there's a difference between what you could do and what you ought to do, okay, what is fitting. Number one, the way a woman conducts herself out in public may be slightly different than she acts at home. Okay? And it's not about being fake, but, the things that you do at home, in the confines of your own home, the way that, you might laugh real loud at something, at home that's like really funny. It's not about being fake, but just the way you conduct yourself as a lady matters out in public. So the way the tone of voice you may use in the house with your kids or something, right, may be different than, how you conduct yourself out in public. Number two, it's not the loudest woman who gains attention from a man, but usually the quietest one. Okay, and I think as black women, we really haven't been taught that. We've been taught, if we shake real hard, if we dance, if we pop it to the floor, if we let out a real loud laugh or something, that a guy will pay attention. He might turn his head and look at you, but it's not going to gain his attention for the right reasons as far as a man taking you seriously in marriage. He might find you attractive physically, but not past that if you gain attention from a man by just being loud. The woman that's off in the corner, actually, having some type of tactfulness to herself, those are the women that usually attract the man for longer spans of time versus just a quick glance. Okay, number three, men tend to be more curious about the girl who is set aside, perhaps reading or doing something, than the girl or group of girls who are loud, flaunting herself, and parading brazenly, okay? So guys are more curious about the girl that's quiet, not the girl that's got herself out there real loud and, just out there in the street. They're not really curious about those girls, and why should they be? You're already showing yourself of who you are versus, the girl that's off in the, under the tree reading, being quiet. Number four, a woman is heavily judged on the way she forms her words and sentences. It often gives people that have a first impression of you the indication of your intelligence level. So when someone first sees you, at first glance, it kind of gives them a pinpoint measurement of how intelligent you are, or maybe even where you come from. You don't want the minute that you open up your mouth for, someone to think, oh, she must come from the inner east side or west side or whatever like that. There's nothing wrong with being proud of where you come from, but this shouldn't be attached to who you are just because of how you talk, and someone making a general opinion that you don't have any class at all or very little of it, based off of the words that you're saying out of your mouth and the tone that you speak from. Number five, the black woman must learn what is proper out in public and the difference between when she can let her hair down behind closed doors to basically relax, in other words. So, like I said, the way you act out in public in front of other people. It's not so much to say that you have to be like night and day, Dr. Mrs. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. Nothing like that. No, so you're not trying to deceive people. So it's a difference, though. And, how you conduct yourself out in public versus being relaxed in the house. There's a difference, okay? Number 6, being loud or aggressive gestures is usually peacocking or done by some males to grasp attention, but certainly not a lady. Okay, so I'm not saying anyone should be super duper loud in public, male or female, but that's usually something a guy does, like when he's playing football and he yells or something, or he's trying to make a gesture to get a woman's attention. It's called male peacocking, but so that means a lot of black females are making gestures that usually pertain to men or have throughout history. And black women, we're wanting the respect of women, but we're doing things that maybe subconsciously we don't understand that. Is not ladylike. Number 7, the only time a lady should be loud and aggressive, especially in public, is if she is being bothered, attacked, or her life is in danger, okay? So those are the only times that black women, should be loud. Number 8, for some, this may seem foreign, like foreign information, or that one is being fake. But remember, it's not about what you could do, but more about what you ought to do as a lady. And that being a real black woman or a real black chick shouldn't be associated with being loud or obscenities to have to consider herself authentic. So to be a real black, authentic black chick or woman should not only be associated to loud and boisterous women. And if you're not acting loud and boisterous, then you're acting like a fake black woman, because that's only saying and justifying and validating the myth of people that think that only black women can be loud. So by your saying, and a lot of some black women that may say, hey, if you act other than loud, if you're not being hood, then you're what's that, selling out, you're being bougie. So this is only saying that you yourself believe what other people believe about black women, that they can only be loud. And those are things that we need to correct, as black women, that we can work on. And I want to do a final recap. Number 1, you could curse and yell from the balcony of a building. After all, you're a grown woman. But the $1 million question is, should you? Number 2, it's not about what you could do, but what you ought to do as a lady. Number 3, the black woman must practice on her English and proper tone. Number 4, the young black woman must learn how to grasp attention from men without using the loudness of her voice. And this goes for older black women too. Number 5, the black woman must practice self-control, and that being loud in public settings and even at home shows people that you lack control over your emotions and self. Also, a woman can be sharp as a razor, basically, saying that, she can be intelligent, but as soon as she becomes obnoxious and wild, she has just proven otherwise. Besides, a woman needs more than books to be a lady. Number 6, the black woman has the body frame, so she's got a bad banging body. Now she must work on the inner frame, her inner self. Lastly, I hold nothing against white or light women, but it is time that the brown and dark woman change those preconceived notions that continue to overshadow us through society. That we can't be ladies, that this is only set aside for light and white women. That the dark and brown woman, this is not for her. We want to change this in society. It is time for the world to see that the black woman can be and shall be known for more than just her body. And that every time as the black, and at any time, and that every time as the black queen, that you act other than yourself by yelling and screaming, it only justifies and validates the horrible beliefs that some want to hold on to. That pretty much concludes this segment. I love all my sisters out there, love all my people out there. If you'd like to get in contact with me, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can contact me at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.